Hi, this is Deepak Rao from Acer Tax and Corporate Services. Welcome to this session on GSTR 2B. GSTR 2B is an input tax credit report that has been recently introduced by the GSTN on the web portal. This is supposed to be the enhanced version of GSTR 2A, which the taxpayers used to get after the vendors uploaded the GSTR 1. So the GSTR 1 of the vendors got converted into GSTR 2A. Now with certain added features, this GSTR 2B has been introduced. Let us understand what is the purpose of this GSTR 2B, what is it trying to achieve, what the government gets out of it, and what the taxpayers gets out of it. Is it going to improve our life or it is going to worsen it? Let us understand this in the next slide. So why is this 2B with enhanced features is introduced? What is the purpose that it is expected to serve, and what would be the significant impact of that on the assessees? One of the key purpose of GSTR 2B seems to be a preparation for the credit restriction to the taxpayers based on what the vendors have uploaded into the system. So there have been various attempts in the past to ensure that there are no revenue leakages to the government and only authorized credit are availed by the assessees. Right now, the credit availment is based on the actual receipt of hard copy of the invoices based on which the assessees take the credit, but also do a reconciliation between GSTR 2A and GSTR 1, and the vendors are required to comply with that. That is more in the hands of vendors and the recipients who they interact with each other and ensure that the invoices are uploaded into GSTR 1. That process, though it has worked to an extent but has not been fully effective. So therefore GSTR 2B seems to be a preparation where whatever the invoices or credit that is reflected in the 2B, the provisions of the law may be amended to ensure that only credit to the extent of what is appearing online would be provided to the assessees and not based on the actual receipt of hard copy or the actual entries booked in the system. Though actual receipt of hard copy of invoices and receipt of services or goods, all those conditions of 16 has to be met, the credit could be likely restricted based on what has been put on the system by the vendors. The 2B also brings the aspect of eligible and ineligible credit. Again, to control the credit, the system based on the logic and the provisions in the Act will be restricting or making a portion of the credit ineligible where the time frame has already passed beyond the September return. If the time frame has already passed for the date of invoice or the credit debit notes, then it would accordingly not allow for the adjustment of the GST. And anywhere where the place of supply is different and the vendor is based in a different state and he does not have a registration for that place of supply, so there technically he is not eligible for credit. Even that logic would be built into the system, and the system itself based on these two parameters of time limit and the place of supply would restrict the credit and would classify the input tax credit into the bucket of eligible and ineligible. But this is just a part determination of eligible and ineligible. So whatever ineligible has to be determined based on section 17.5 and various other parameters that should still be and will be left to the self-assessment criteria by the assessee. So this is only one portion of the credit which is being bought in as eligible, ineligible. Even this could have been ideally avoided because this is a par determination. It will add to more confusions and reconciliations. The eligible, ineligibility aspect could have completely left on the assessees itself. The other aspect of this GSTR 2B is that it is also going to bring in the reverse charge numbers at a summary level into the GSTR 2B. So wherever the vendors have uploaded the invoices stating that the GST has to be paid by the recipient, that would come and appear into the taxpayer GSTR 2B. So this will give a better control to the taxmen, so the tax authorities to figure out whether the assessees have actually deposited, the recipient taxpayer has deposited all the amounts that is payable on reverse charge. Else previously, without this summary, he had to get in and look into the GSTR 1 to figure out whether there is, of the vendors to figure out whether there is any reverse charge payable. So this feature seems to be added to give a better control to the taxman to track the reverse charge, and there is no leakage of credit. The advantage or the benefit for the assessee is in better reconciliation. The previous GSTR 2A was a very static, was not a static document, and the numbers used to change every time the vendor uploaded new things. So here the GSTR 2B, for that particular month till the next month the GSTR 1 is uploaded, the numbers in there will be fixed and constant. So therefore the vendors, the taxpayers will be able to do a better reconciliation with what the vendors have uploaded. Reconciliation won't stop, it is going to continue with the books of accounts, but now you have a definite number against which you can reconcile in the 2B. The aim of the government has been to improve the compliances from the vendors, and especially smaller vendors where the compliance is not that up to the mark and high standards. So therefore, if one of the purpose of this GSTR 2B is to restrict the credit as per the 2B, then the taxpayers will be eligible for credit only up to 2B, irrespective of what is the actual invoice that they have received and what is their actual entitlement. So in order to get better entitlement and better credit, the taxpayers can now push the vendors to ensure that compliance happens, because unless they see the number in the 2B, they will not be able to avail the credit. So therefore, there will be a kind of push exerted by the taxpayer on all their vendors to ensure compliance. So this 2B, bringing in 2B, and if credit get restricted as per 2B, then it is good for the compliance. A lot more better compliance can be expected from all the GST registered assessee. So in summary, the bigger purpose seems to be for the government to have a better control on the input tax credit that is being availed by the taxpayer, and to ensure that there is no revenue leakage and prevention of fraud by comparing everything online. There are also some advantages that comes to the assessees in terms of better reconciliation and improvement of the compliance. So we need to see how these purposes and objectives will be achieved as we move forward doing the 2B reconciliation and filing the returns. Thank you. That's all that I had on GSTR 2B purpose and impact. If you have any queries or questions, kindly do reach out to me at deepak.rao@acertax.com. Thank you.